My name's Ema Skye. I'm a scientific investigator. Please, I'm out of time. My sister didn't do it. She wouldn't stab someone with a knife. She wouldn't. The crime took place yesterday, February 21st at 5:15 p.m. A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. My name is Angel Star. Don't you go forgetting it. Prosecutors, they have no qualms at all about blackmailing the name of innocence. And yesterday they paid homage to the most evil one of all. To think that my own car would become the scene of a murder. More surprisingly still, I'm being forced to prove my superior's guilt. Jake Marshall. Strange guy to put in charge of a crime scene. Bruce Goodman. He was a detective, right? One stab to the chest. A fine piece of work. So there's no connection between Detective Goodman and my sister. That's correct, but there's a gold mine of evidence against her. I know that song your phone plays when it rings. What? It's the Steel Samurai theme song, isn't it? The phone that rang earlier wasn't mine. It was yours. Your sister called you, didn't she, Emma? I'm sorry. Hello and welcome back. This is Queen 3210 and we are continuing on where we left off from Phoenix Wright. So, the chief prosecutor has been accused of murder. The body was found in the trunk of Edgeworth's car, and we are set to defend her, along with the insistence of Lana Skye's younger sister, Emma. What will this trial unfold? Your guess is as good as mine, so let's get started, shall we? February 23rd, 9:24 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there's still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe in their client. Huh? The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. True, but any defense lawyer worth their salt, if they don't believe in their client, then it shows forth in their work, and especially if there's a jury, they're gonna notice, and they're not gonna take you seriously. So that's bullshit advice right there. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. Damn! I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. And that's why he didn't take any cases, because he wasn't convinced of his ability. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole time. February 23rd, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he is much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well, then call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. So in other words, he did not order it. The judge is really wolfing it down. Yeah. Nowhere in a court of ever would this ever happen, guys. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Edgeworth is not taking her shit, and I love it. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? Wow! Blazing disrespect in the courtroom. Judge, you gonna order her to answer her damn question? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts! I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Playing coy and innocent. Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I am not finished eating. Hurry it up! Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. I'm sorry, what? What? Miss Starr was a detective? I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up, Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? I would like to know that too. If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Block A is for the prosecutor's office personnel, and Block B is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutors' spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness. An arrest was made on the spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans added to the court record.
Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
Seems rather cut and dry now, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. I mean, he is a defense attorney, so of course he can't. Seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Wait, are they talking about me? Yeah, Phoenix, sorry, you're the odd dugout. Her account. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching! Yeah, if only you knew.
As you can see, there is no room for doubt. Edgeworth, did you miss the part where she called your car garish?
The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed?
I'm still thinking about that.
It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Here we go. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come.
How did you know?
I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted, given that they are used to erasing inconvenience evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that.
Do you have no words there?
Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Laid off? She was fired?
To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Which means your testimony is colored with bias. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr.
I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work.
You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder?
It felt like, how would you say? Oh, yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
I have no idea what that means.
Neither do I, Judge. Neither do I.
Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective?
Yes, well, he was like a young cheese.
A young cheese?
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
Then I must be hard yellow and sharp as a tack.
No, sorry, Judge. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it?
Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure that it was the defendant?
I saw her with no further than 3 feet away. I am certain it was her.
If she's telling the truth, we're doomed.
Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms, ergo. You are a biased witness.
You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, Rookie.
Huh? Rookie?
Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
No, dude, that was a threat. Hold her in contempt. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph? You took this?
The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera.
What? I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now?
You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of the criminal affairs. I thought you said your boyfriend was a security guard.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
Crime photo added to the court records.
Uh-oh.
That is unmistakably Lana Skye. So what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand.
Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying.
Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Isn't that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all.
Yes, that is about right.
Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. Are they, though?
I'm pretty sure prosecutors are lawyers, not police.
I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg from my egg salad surprise set.
You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person.
Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor?
So the defendant was holding a knife. What then?
Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense does have a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late.
Too late?
Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon.
So here's a question. She didn't have the sense to try and stop her, but she did have the sense to take a photo? I see.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it.
You said that before. Anything else?
Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless.
Sounds pretty fatal to me.
What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty?
Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer.
Don't smile like that! Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. Okay.
Right, here. This boyfriend. He's the detective?
Not that boyfriend. The security guard.
That boyfriend? You have several?
Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants.
I'll stick with the lunches. Thanks.
Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's on the second level, so you can see everything from there.
That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunch boxes by car?
Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime.
Let's try this. Oh, cool, got it right. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife.
As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? That's a good question. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth.
Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing.
Objection! And how can you tell that? The blood on her coat?
Blood splatter.
Huh?
See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat?
But it's a black and white photograph. Oh, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood.
Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here.
No problem? Except you.
Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take this kind of abuse?
You got a better idea?
That's a good question. Do I object or do I not object? I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time,
it could be anything else, too. Wait, that contradicts what the witness just said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime.
Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies.
That's it?
If you run out of lunches, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder.
Premeditated? How do you know?
Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph.
Whoa! Are those gloves?
Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on?
If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Gah! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder is a serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony.
The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it.
Do they, though? Witness, Do you know what this is?
Are you trying to test me? I sell lunchboxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk.
Indeed, it is my knife. Yeah, but if it was premeditated, how did she get her hand with it? Okay, it's the bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right?
Mommy, are prosecutors bad people?
The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony.
What's that, rookie?
In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon.
Whoa!
Order! Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor.
Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free.
Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing that the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else. That is true.
Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now, huh? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
How dare you?
My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Angel's deduction.
Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman.
That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in and again and again. Oh, really? The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation now, doesn't it?
So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. That being said, Emma brings up a very good point. That being said, also, I just want to consult one thing before we continue. That's the autopsy. Death due to loss of blood, one knife wound. That's what I thought, bitch. That is what I thought. Want to say that again, bitch? You say she stabbed him again and again? But you couldn't have witnessed that.
Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise.
I want a refund.
I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr.
Well, what do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this,
But take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right! Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
But I'm the one who did the objecting. What a hunk! He's my hero, really.
What about my objection? No one noticed. Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one would ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw her blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify!
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly that whole scene was.
Really?
What red muffler?
Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What? Edgeworth, quit stealing my fucking thunder.
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph.
Huh? But that can't be!
Only a professional lunch lady would be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words. What good?
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
What was my objection, chop liver?
But it was there! A scarf! No, not that, but something red. Really?
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business.
What?
Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
The most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. Technically, if you're no longer a detective, you no longer have the right or the capability to arrest anybody.
You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother me with the details unless you want to get bitten.
No, thank you.
Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum.
An oil drum? Hard to imagine.
Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may your cross-examination, if you will.
Here we go. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side.
So where is this partition on the floor plan?
I'm sure she means this wall next to the car.
That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot.
You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
Maybe I should press her for more details.
Yep.
I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here. I would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain link fence in front of you.
I went over it, of course.
Amazing. The cough-up queen lunch lady athlete, indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, though. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast.
Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Skye not get away? Good question.
Oh, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused earlier in my testimony.
So wait, why would she have mentioned the muffler? She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say?
If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else?
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
Her phone? She can't mean... By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately?
My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court does not see, Miss Starr.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
But why would she do that? On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall.
Apparently, it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone.
Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day.
Good witnessing, witness.
Bad witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying?
You should, of course, add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney.
Lana's cell phone updated in the court record.
I saw it all, how she tried the phone on the wall but had to use her cell phone instead.
You think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her own cell phone out of her pocket.
Again, why would she try the telephone on the wall if she had a cell phone?
And during that time,
you climbed over the chain link fence.
Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone.
And you saw her doing this?
What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile.
She made to escape. Can you be more specific?
She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pate of foie gras.
Huh?
She even kicked over an oil drum at me.
An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange.
What's that?
If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way?
The parking lot entrance.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind a partition to the oil drums. Yeah, what do you have to say about that, Angel? Excellent. More mysteries.
I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Skye tried to run.
I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright.
Not as sorry as I am.
But she didn't do it. You have to believe me.
Oh, no. Fail. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Well, shit.
I understand.
I'm just dumb. It's fine. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye.
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Yeah, okay, says you.
Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago.
I don't think Edgeworth remembers you. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up.
Let's look at the floor plans, shall we? You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call.
I believe you see what I'm getting at.
The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it.
What? Ah!
Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies.
Ugh.
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told us in this court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about where she saw it. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It'd mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed this crime was here. Only place it could have been. I mean, she was bringing him lunch and all that. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room is in the underground parking lot, and it's well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But I'm wondering if after the angle would she have actually been able to see her stab the victim.
But why there? There were many other places where she could have seen the phone.
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony, you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, correct? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men to think that the tables could be turned? Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr.
Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails.
The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye?
Mr. Wright? Doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense.
Huh?
She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. This photograph tells all it was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands.
Objection!
It still stands? I disagree, Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that for a good reason. Or without a good reason.
So tell us what your reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block.
It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? Angle view of the crime. Why, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change.
The angle? What do you mean?
Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and, she would have some sort of more 3D view of the crime.
And this is important. Why?
I got it wrong, didn't I? Yes, I did.
Perhaps you'd like to reconsider, Mr. Wright.
Distance to the crime? It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it is quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. Okay, I fucked up again.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Okay, no, I was right. Sweet. Miss Starr, you witnessed this crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to get from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye?
Well, witness?
You?
Yes?
You ordered the squid wheels, right?
The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible.
I was bringing a PB&J's lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. And I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block.
That's quite a detour.
But why not just say that then?
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
For 5 minutes? That changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. Except the angle of that photograph was taken from visitor B lot. So it would have been 5 minutes after the murder.
You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something.
Do I have any evidence to stop this? I probably do. 5 minutes between the witnessing of a murder and the arrest? Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente.
I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie.
A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable.
Yeah!
Well then, seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go.
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that shut. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright.
That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Hold it! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid reels, right?
That's the one she tried to foist on me.
I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Whoa, a triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I will allow one more testimony.
I object to this witness. She's obviously trying to influence the judge.
What makes you say that?
Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed.
What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time?
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
Aha! What? There was blood found on that shoe?
But try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Witness, what is the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence?
Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
What?
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
Seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
Seems so. Edgeworth's looking pretty sullen.
You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim's shoe added to the court record.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Here we go. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Really now.
I can't let this evidence go through without a fight.
You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in hot enough water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe?
A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? Yeah, there is. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this shoe. A clear contradiction.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat now, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence.
Oh boy, I didn't realize it was going to be this.
A few moments later.
I wonder if you noticed. I wonder if you noticed that there's blood on the bottom of this shoe.
Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
And yet she has no lunchboxes to give. Indeed. There is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe, meaning she stepped in blood.
It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife.
What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of the shoe? The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't there any blood prints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there are no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order! 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 Well, witness?
What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh. That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think.
That's not her shoe.
No shit, Sherlock.
Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions, okay? Calm the fuck down. Like, chill. Give me some fucking slack.
What?
I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. Yep, I figured as much. It was not her shoe.
You're an idiot!
But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Row.
I thought it was strange. I thought it was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness? Well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water? What does that mean? Means that if there were any footprints, it would have been washed away. Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason.
Aha! You don't mean...
Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason only. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her.
What? That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence.
That reminds me, Miss Skye's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him?
So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe?
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Oh, fuck.
But Mr. Wright, do something, please!
But what? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it.
But...
Enough! There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor.
Very well.
But Angel Starr is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
Little girl, what did you just say?
Huh? Me?
Did you just say that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
But wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else.
The time for deliberations has passed. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare me. The cop-up. Your threats don't scare the cop-up queen. Look at this. It wasn't her shoe. I called it. I fucking called it.
A photograph?
I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. Oh. Well, I'm dumb. I wasn't paying attention to that part.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
But Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this!
Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this was what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia.
Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel.
Huh?
Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end.
This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Your Honor, wait.
What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah. I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the evidence the problem with this photograph. Oh, fuck. Well.
Oh! She did say muffler. The problem in this photograph is here.
What's this?
There's something poking out the car's muffler.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or a scarf of any kind in this photograph.
Dude, you need your eyes fucking checked? Jesus Christ. A muffler is also a part of a car or a motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as a part of the exhaust system. A pipe.
I see. And I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there was something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Objection! Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us what you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case.
Her testimony, right? Yep. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court.
When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler? Ah! Ugh!
Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence.
Oh, whoa!
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any questions unanswered, here we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew. That was close. But we made it. At least for now.
This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry? Oh. Well, that was abrupt.
February 23rd, 11:56 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Mr. Wright?
Huh? What?
Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface? But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there.
Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand.
So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers.
Probably something to do with that piece of cloth.
So, is this where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth.
I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth.
Hola, partner.
Oh, hi.
They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least.
Officer Marshall!
Thought I'd come take a look, see how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What's going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example.
Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing one.
You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? Huh? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. Saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler.
What?
At the awards ceremony that afternoon, Edgeworth seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? It means she took it off sometime before the murder, well, definitely before that picture was taken. In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf.
So Miss Starr wasn't mistaken.
Well, it's about time. Now remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this.
So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright?
If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Wooey!
February 23rd, 12:32 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 9.
I'd like to resume?
What's up? Judge keeps looking over at the prosecution.
Is something the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue like your lips are purple. You're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen.
I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth.
Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite besides himself.
Excuse me. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who the fuck are you? What's with this guy? A strange, stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man walked in. Who on earth is he?
It's you!
Hi?
Oh, sorry I'm late, Uji. The roads were packed, it's just me. Long time no see, Uji? How you been? Swimming much these days? Oh, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy smizzy, Uji. My boy, you have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed.
Uji? Seems to be his nickname for the judge.
I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid.
Sorry, but who are you? And we're in the middle of a court case, so can you, kindly fuck off?
Aha, so you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son.
Thanks?
So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly!
Little Worthy?
Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district.
Well, shit. What are you doing here?
Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, has it not? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this.
Hey, that's my sister's muffler.
So Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Skye really was wearing that muffler.
But to think that it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. Oh, little Worthy's car, no less. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. Well, what's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our jobs? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Ooh. I just got chills. Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature, is there? Miles Edgeworth? That's not fair! On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made.
Ooh, that's cold.
Wow! This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words.
This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah! The court accepts this new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor. Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch in. If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I won't be able to pound my gavel anymore. That's bullshit, and we all know it.
Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point at people anymore. Oh, come on, just open up. Just hurry and open it up. Fine. Once again, I'm not doing this. I have no control. Gah! Don't scare me like that. This is the true murder weapon. I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip's broken off. And this dark red stain. Blood? Switchblade knife added to the court record. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself.
I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police and this knife? Sure thing. Not a problem, not even a little one. Really.
Oh boy. Here we go.
This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess!
But it's your job to literally investigate shit like this. Hello?
The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this case here, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, Uji. We haven't exactly announced it yet.
Oh wait, so there's a second murder.
But wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact same time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office.
And it would make sense because of that opening video.
Order! 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 Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top security investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department situation. Well, Mr. Wright?
2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places? The chances of that are really slim. Scientifically speaking, of course. For once, you are on the ball. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness.
Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman.
I think there is, actually. Remember that note I was pretty sure is upside down? I am pretty sure it's still upside down. Oh my god, I was right. Wait a second. Ha! At last, an honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with the Detective Goodman.
What do you mean?
Aha! An honest-to-goodness what do you mean from Uji? This is great. Look at the tag on the knife. It reads SL92.
And this is important. Why?
Over here, we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim.
What's this? 6 minus S 7S 12 /2?
Your Honor, it's upside down.
Who fucking called that the first time she picked that up? Who wanted to flip it over, but wasn't able to because the game wouldn't let her? Who thought that was rather suspicious? That's right, game. I'm onto you.
Upside.
The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around, and what do you get? February 21st, SL9.
Oh! Aha!
Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down.
SL9. That's the same thing that's written on the knife tag. Order! Order! Well, Chief?
Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, righto. I win? What game is this guy playing?
This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation.
Okay, so first things first. It was stolen from the department. So this knife was stolen?
Yes, but on the day of the murder.
It was evidence, you say. Was it in fact a murder weapon?
Nice, nice, nice. Good show, Littleworthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens.
It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car? Hard to think there isn't a connection there.
That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation.
It is literally your job. Something happened at the police department too, huh?
You got a good look in your eyes there, righto, my boy.
Sharp. Hungry. So something did happen. And why wasn't I informed?
Why weren't you informed?
Well, why didn't you ask, huh? That's not how it works, Gant. No matter, I understand. You were busy, what with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day?
A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess.
On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot. Another detective was killed at the police department?
That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Uji? I'm at a loss for words.
And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect?
Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact.
Just arrested? That was quick.
But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, righto?
Suppose I could help. If you help me by giving me data on your case.
Oh, good one. This kid is sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Oh, fuck.
So, how the victim was killed, he was stabbed. Where the victim was found was the police station. When the victim died was at 5:15. But what the fuck?
A few moments later.
Fine. So tell me, where was the victim found?
Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. But I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department.
The evidence room? Wait a sec. I've heard of that. The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now?
This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's the connection between the two cases.
You seem happy, Mr. Wright.
Happy? Happy we just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. First things first, there's another bug, so I'm gonna kill it. It's not officially linked to this case here, so I can't talk much about it.
Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven.
Heh, you don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright.
The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence bag. And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room.
Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. Took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here.
Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department.
See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all.
Can we get the information unofficially?
Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all.
What? Really? Who would have guessed?
I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? If you're gonna tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Ah, well, case information is a sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh, well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of them. Okay, well, what division was the victim stationed in? Oh, you want to know that, do ya? Do ya? Ha ha. Criminal Affairs, Division 1. The detectives responsible for homicide cases.
Homicide? That'd be the same division as Detective Gumshoe. That means that if we can actually do some more investigation after the fact, we might be able to ask him some questions. Detective Goodman, who was killed in the underground parking lot, was homicide too. It's almost like a serial killer was after homicide detectives. Except this serial killers happen simultaneously, scientifically speaking. Well, I sure hope Detective Gumshoe isn't next on the list. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecution's office, and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife! What was it doing in there?
I'd better check this knife out.
Okay, I guess is the victim's ID number? Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number?
Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it's from that.
Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all.
We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 584-2189. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82. I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? ID number of the victims. I think it does.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
It tells me something.
Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think.
Meaning?
It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean?
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you?
Witness?
What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night.
No, it's just, I got confused. And this is news. Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing, like you always do. The police department, prosecutor's office, 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number right here.
Oh, is it yours?
You're an idiot!
No, Your Honor. I'm a defense attorney. Remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman.
Shame on you, Righto. Personal IDs are top secret.
Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189.
And? This means what exactly?
Means he was murdered in 2 different places.
Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I'd forgotten.
You didn't even get the first 2 numbers right. Again! The number the chief of police gave us was 5842189. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, sharp as a tack, Righto. Sharp as a tack.
But wait! Detective Goodman is our victim! He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot.
Yet, a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. In the evidence room at the exact same time. But that's impossible. So, what we're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time in a completely different location.
Order! 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 Chief, what does this mean?
No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case.
Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered.
Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me?
The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours.
What? How? How dare? We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. But we sent him away because it had nothing to do with the current case.
The Officer Meekins?
Mr. Wright! Where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha!
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir.
You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report.
Hard to believe.
But your officer, he told me. He said that report had nothing to do with the Lana Skye incident.
Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on top of the report. Gah! But why didn't your officer tell me?
Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged.
That's not nice, Emma. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But, sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then Yes? No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law?
Well, Mr. Wright?
Huh? Well, it's, Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Righto over here. Good job, Righto, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! Oh boy. Poor Edgeworth. It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a rough time, Worthy, what with all these rumors. You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. But Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one more day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. If it is the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time. Really. You have my profound apologies, sir.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth.
I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it is not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned.
Oh, well, that was really quick. So, plot twist. Turns out that the victim, Bruce Goodman, was actually murdered in 2 different locations. That makes sense given the intro cinematic prior to the start of this chapter. So, what does this mean? Does this mean that he was actually murdered in 2 different locations? And if so, how come there was 2 bodies? My thought is that identical twins, but at the same time, ID cards. I guess we will figure out everything next time. So, until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like or subscribe. If not, leave a comment below letting me know what I can do to improve. And as always, until the next time, ciao.